Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show with local celebrity hosts Steve-O and Renee. Sit back each week while Steve-O and Renee educate you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve-O and Renee with today's expert in their field.
Good afternoon. What a beautiful day outside.
You think?
Yeah, it's like Mr. Rogers, what a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It rains here every day.
I know, it's crazy. Good afternoon, and welcome to Ask the Experts radio show. I'm Steve-O. I'm here with my co-host, Renee. For the next hour, we've got two incredible shows for you. These are two new, one's new and one's one of our shows from last month. We have an expert in tax relief, and I have wanted a show like this because it is so important nowadays.
It's a problem that hits a lot of people.
And we hit a home run. We got not just the best tax relief company locally, but nationally, and the owner-president, Mr. Barry Fowler. Him and his wife flew here from Houston to be on today's show. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Barry.
Hi,
welcome to the show.
Thank
you for having me.
A Texan like me. So I'm going to be able to understand him a lot better.
Oh, you telling me I'm not going to understand him?
You're from New York.
Okay.
How could you understand him?
We understand everyone in New York.
Okay.
Settle down there, cowboy. I got two cowboys.
Exactly. Now it's cowboys. So if this is the first time you've tuned in, Renee and I, we interview the top experts in health, legal, financial, and home improvement. And in the second half hour of today's show, we have one of the top criminal attorneys, Michael Leader.
From Leader and Leader, right.
Leader. So this is going to be just a great show. If
Tell
you'd
everybody.
Like to watch
I was just about to say that, yes.
Go to www.Taxation Solutions, that's plural.net, and you can actually watch our show live right now, or you can go back and watch it later on.
So like you said, Barry is the president and founder of Taxation Solutions. So, Barry, what is an enrolled agent?
Enrolled agent is basically America's premier tax experts. We're actually licensed by the U.S. Department of Treasury to represent taxpayers to the highest level of the IRS. We protect the American taxpayers.
Wow. So tell us a little bit of background about your company.
Well, I started the company about almost 10 years ago now. Basically, we found a need for the American taxpayers for somebody to step in between them and the IRS. And so we found that something we needed to do. And we started out in Houston, and we've expanded to 27 offices around the country.
Which is incredible. He's actually going to be doing a show. We do Ask the Experts in Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, and you're going to be doing the show there as well.
I know, it's cool.
Which is, it's incredible.
Looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to getting out here and doing this show. It's going to be great.
He actually flew in to come do the show, which is really impressive.
And what really is because, because we always are looking for tax relief companies, and you learn who are the top ones around the country. You learn because they don't have all that negative stuff about them on the internet. And
you have to be really careful.
Exactly. We're going to get into that today, that you have to be careful on who you go with. But I love that we got Taxation Solutions because I didn't see any negative on there at all. Now, listen, we all get some, but I didn't see any, so
which is
got
wonderful.
The best in the country.
Absolutely.
We take a lot of time to protect what we do and protect, our clients. And so when somebody does call us, we take a lot of time on the phone with them with a free consultation to basically go through their whole situation and their issue so that we know what we're getting into and they know what they're getting into and what they've got to do for us and what we can do for them to solve their problem.
Yes. So basically, you've been in business for a long time, so you deal directly with the IRS.
Yes, I've been doing taxes for probably 30 years now. And yes, we know exactly how to deal with the IRS between myself, my tax attorneys, my other enrolled agents, and my CPAs that all work for me. We've got you covered.
Okay, so what does that mean for taxpayers when you have somebody like yourself from your company?
Well, what that means is when you pick up the phone and call us and then you hire us to do it, is we're the go-between. The IRS deals with us not with you. So if the IRS was to pick up the phone and call you because you have a tax problem or you owe them money,
Which is very scary.
yeah, very scary. Or you even get those nasty love letters that we like to talk about that the IRS sends so often. All you got to do is give them our phone number, and we step in.
So it's out of their hands.
Out of their hands. Set your
Which is
mind
a
at ease.
huge relief. It really is.
So with all that experience, I mean, you've probably seen it all.
Oh yeah, I mean we've seen everything. It's just amazing, from retired teachers owing money for some part-time work they did, to small business owners that owe hundreds of thousands of dollars, to individuals getting audited for what we would say almost no reason at all.
And you deal strictly just with federal taxes, was that right?
No, we deal with federal and state,
Oh,
Wow.
wherever it happens to be.
See,
Wherever they need
Barry-
tax relief.
Well, see, Barry's in Texas. We're here in
Yes.
Florida. We don't have a state tax, so we don't never have to worry about that.
but there are states, obviously, that do.
Exactly.
And he handles everything.
That's really good. And tell us, when someone first calls you up, just kind of walk us through, because I would just imagine they are so nervous. They've probably just gotten a letter from the IRS.
It's typically that they're getting audited. Is that correct?
No, typically what we see is when people call in, we do get some of the people that call in for audits, but they owe a lot of money to the IRS, and they've been basically keeping their head in the sand to where they're not dealing with their problem, and now it's gotten really, really bad to where maybe they've levied their bank account, or they're garnishing their wages, or they've put liens on their houses or other property. And so typically they call in, they're really, really frustrated. They don't know what to do or where to turn. They've put it off long enough. And when we try to basically get out of them what caused the problem, where they're at, maybe they haven't filed their taxes in a number of years, and then figure out what's going to be the best solution for them and how they're going to go about solving this problem with us.
By having you involved, does that postpone things? If somebody owes a lot of money, does that put things off that they know somebody's representing them?
It doesn't necessarily put it off, but it puts it in our hands to where we can work with the IRS to establish some reasonable deadlines. Not the deadlines the IRS particularly wants. So they may say, you have to turn something in a week. Well, we can work with the IRS.
Is that the typical deadline, usually like a week?
It depends on how far their situation has come. If they've been dealing with the IRS themselves or trying to deal with the IRS themselves, that could be an immediate deadline that you've got to have something to them the next day. So we've dealt with all these things.
Why do you think most taxpayers get behind? I mean, what are the stories that you hear? What got them behind in the first place?
Well, probably the most interesting and what we hear most often is at some point in time, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, or even longer, they go to file that one return. They've been doing consulting work or maybe even self-employed, and they owe $10,000 or $20,000, and they go, oh my God, I can't afford this today. And so they don't file the return. And then they don't realize they get hit with the penalty for failure to file, failure to pay, and then all the other penalties on top of it.
It just starts adding up, yeah.
Snowballs. And, so it just continues to get worse, and then they go to file the next year, and they go, well, if I file this year, they're going to want last year's. And so I don't file that one, and then it goes on from there. And then the IRS
It's a
catches up
snowball
to them,
effect, yes.
and they've got this mammoth amount of debt out there.
What can the IRS do to you? And I'm asking this because there's people out there who actually do not know.
My typical answer is, what can they not do to you?
Oh, okay.
They are the biggest collection agency in
You
the
could
country.
be put in prison, right?
Oh, you've seen it with the
Yeah.
celebrities and everything else. That's usually a last resort, or to prove a point. But
Because they want their money. They're not looking to put you away. They want their money.
yeah, they want their money. They're going to find a way to get every dime out of you. If you're not using somebody that'll help settle your case and settle your debt to something more reasonable, then yeah, they're going to come after every dime, however they can get it. Levy in your bank account, take everything you got in. And the interesting thing is, a lot of times they levy the bank account on your payday. And guess what? You have no money for the weekend.
Wow.
Or
Aside
to pay
from
your bills.
right. Aside from garnishing your paycheck,
Yeah.
they just take it all.
They can take it all. What's ever in your account.
Cars, trucks.
Cars, trucks, homes, those are usually last
So your home is
results.
not protected?
Your home's not protected from the IRS. We've seen it on their websites where they got homes for sale. and that's homes they've taken from people as part of settlement of their debt. But there's a lot of things we do before they would ever get to that situation. That's kind of like the nail in the coffin, where they're going to take everything from you. So what you typically do is scale that back, and we can control a lot of what happens with the IRS.
Wow.
That's why it's so important to use this company, because it's a really scary thought. I mean, you could basically lose everything.
Give them your phone number, because you have offices down here.
Yeah, my Miami number is 786-600-4351.
Okay. So we have a large area. Do they have to come to your office, or can this be done over the phone?
We can deal with everything over the phone. We can
Which is
meet with them.
perfect.
So if they're
That's
in Palm
great.
Beach,
Yes.
So if they're in Palm Beach,
So he covers
Call
all
us.
the areas, because all you have to do is call him and he can handle it for you.
You know, one of the reasons why I wanted to do a show like this is there's a lot of scam companies out there. I mean, you know there are. And I'm hearing some, we had someone who owed $1 million and we got him off for 75 cents. And I mean, there's crazy stories out
Right, well,
there.
if it sounds too good to be true.
Exactly.
It's not, right?
So that's why we wanted to bring you on the show, because, and I'm going to tell you something, if you even think that maybe down the future you're going to have a tax problem, a problem with the IRS, I want you to write this number down. Let's give it to them again for the people who aren't watching the show, because you might need this number, because it's a lot better than scurrying through the internet to try to find a company. This is very important.
And also give your website address, because people could go on there and contact you on your website as well.
okay. Our phone number here locally is 786-600-4351, or you can reach us nationwide at our toll-free number of 888-930-1016, or check us out on the website at taxationsolutions.net.
Okay,
Got a great website, so much
I
information
have one more
on there.
question. What happens if a taxpayer can't pay back the money, if they don't have the money? I mean, do you set payment plans, like affordable payment plans? Because that's the scariest thought, because if you owe thousands and thousands of dollars and you just can't pay it back, what happens?
We have a lot of options and programs that we can help the taxpayer. That can be everything from the offer and compromise, where we can settle for a lot less than what you owe.
They do that?
They do that.
Wow.
We have some great examples on our website, some of the testimonials, and it's not even all the testimonials we have.
You got great testimonials on there. I read them all. Got really good testimonials on there.
Well, he's basically saved their lives.
No kidding.
Yeah. And we've put them back in good, solid ground to be able to live their life again. And, one of the things is the IRS controls you if they control your money. So let's get you back in control of your money and get the IRS out of your life.
That's what I would want to do.
Yes.
But now, do they keep adding penalties, though, during this time?
Well, once we get them into some kind of settlement, if it's the offer and compromise, everything stops. You've got to be in compliance for the next 5 years. Means you've got to file your taxes. You've got to do everything right. And we've got a compliance program that'll help everybody through that as well. You can get into some of the other ways we settle their debt is just doing an installment agreement. If you've got too many assets to be able to settle, we can get you an installment agreement that you can afford. We can even get them into partial pay installment agreements, and we can get them into some of them just non-collectible status.
So there's a lot of
Wow.
options.
So there's a lot of options.
And bankruptcy's not going to protect you on
Not
this, is
from
it?
the IRS.
Well, bankruptcy only protects, and I'm not a lawyer, so
Right, I understand.
I'm not going to go legal grounds on this, but basically bankruptcy can protect you if you've had your taxes filed and you owe from more than 3 years ago, and you filed them more than 3 years ago. Otherwise, it gets included, and the lawyers can explain this better than I can, but you'll end up on a payment plan through the trustee.
Well, let's go to
Oh,
break,
okay.
and when we come back, we have more with the founder, the president of Taxation
big
Solutions, Barry Fowler. We'll be right back.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more? Is the IRS levying your bank account or garnishing your wage? Taxation Solutions protects the future of today's taxpayer and can get you a fresh start. Their staff of professionals have a genuine concern for the IRS issues their clients face. Taxation Solutions have programs to stop the IRS and help you solve your IRS debt, IRS audit, innocent spouse, IRS seizures, offers, and compromise. Taxation Solutions are the leading experts in the industry. They look at each case objectively and honestly to help their clients identify the best solution. Call today for peace of mind and a free consultation at 786-600-4351. Don't stick your head in the sand anymore. Call now, 786-600-4351, or go on their website, taxationsolutions.net. Call 786-600-4351.
And we're back with Barry Fowler, the president at Taxation Solutions. So I hear all the time claims that companies could settle for pennies on the dollar. Is that true? As far as taxes are concerned, does that happen?
It happens.
Okay.
The claims and what you hear on some of the ads that are out there, in my opinion, are exaggeration because not everybody qualifies for that.
Right.
A little catch there.
But we've done it. You'll see the testimonials on our website at taxationsolutions.net. But, it's not everybody. And we put on our website as well those people that we get into some of these installment agreements and the partial pay and other things that we can do for people to help solve their tax problem. But you'll also see examples where we've taken people that have owed well over $300,000 and settled for $1,000.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It is.
So let me ask you something, aside from that. If you close down a corporation, if you're protected under a corporation, you still owe monies and taxes, are you still liable for those taxes after the fact?
Now, that's kind of a big question because it depends on the type of corporation that you're running, if it's an S Corp or C Corp. And then it also depends on what kind of taxes it is.
Okay.
Because if you're an S Corp, everything flows through to the personal tax return and you're taxed there anyway. C Corp, you close it down, and if it's just corporate income taxes, we can get rid of those taxes for you.
But not like sales tax?
But not like sales tax,
Right.
because a lot of those are going to come, you're going to have the state authorities coming after you, and they're coming after you personally. But if it's payroll taxes, the interesting thing about payroll taxes is that once they're assessed and you don't pay them, they're going to come after the responsible parties.
Because the employees actually pay the payroll taxes. I mean, it's deducted.
It's
so
a trust fund.
Right. So you're keeping those funds basically and not paying it.
Exactly. You're taking those funds and you're using them for your own purpose to maybe help grow your business because it's really tight and
Right.
you need the cash flow. But it's still a trust fund. And the interesting thing, or the real bad thing for that employer and the employees that could be responsible for that, is
The employees would be responsible for that?
The employees, as far as it goes, is if they had check writing ability and could sign the checks,
okay.
then they could make a determination not to pay those payroll taxes and they could be held responsible. We've seen that happen. But they can come after them personally. And what they do, the IRS does, is assesses a trust fund penalty against the company and all responsible individuals.
Wow, that's crazy. So you have to be really careful who you choose, what type of company, aside from yourself,
Yes.
aside from your company. You have to be really careful.
You got to be very careful. You got to check them out and talk to them, and you also got to make sure that whatever you're doing, it's not just what you want to hear, because there's a lot of companies that'll just get on the phone and tell you what you want to hear. So yes, I can settle your debt, I can do this, but they're not going to explain to you, what they can do for you, and they're not going to take the time to walk you through what your real situation is.
So what are some of the questions to ask?
What is your past history? And how are you going to get this settlement? If they're not asking you where you're at financially and how much money you have and what your assets are, then they have no way of making a determination what the settlement should be.
Right.
None of us can guarantee exactly what the IRS is going to allow, but my company, my guys, and the people that will talk to you on the phone, all our tax consultants, will shoot you honestly, what they think we can do. Now, if you hide something from me and you don't tell us what you have,
That's a problem.
the second home that's free and
Yes.
clear, you got a problem.
Right,
There's
exactly.
nothing we can do about
But you got to
that.
be honest.
But there's people out there right now, I know who've hired a tax relief company. They're not happy with them. They're not returning phone calls.
So can't you switch over?
Can't you listen? And you can go with whoever you want. Is that
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Or
you
have they
can-
signed
At
a
any time,
contract?
even if they've spoken to the IRS.
Even if they've spoken to the IRS, the only thing that would be is there's some of these companies out there that if you've signed a contract, they're going to take every dime that you signed that contract for. And so sometimes you're going
Wow.
to want to deal with them. But you also got to look at the situation they're putting you in, and are they getting something done for you? And if they're not, call us. We'll
I
help
actually
you do
read
it.
stuff on when
You have to be really careful.
when I knew Barry was going to be coming on. I mean, there's like companies out there that people are screaming at. They won't return their phone calls. They've paid them already, and it's been months since they've heard from them and nothing. I mean, I did a lot of research on this, and there's a lot of bad companies out there.
Yeah, there are a lot of bad companies. In my company, what we try to do is making sure that whether we're waiting on the IRS or not, we're staying in touch with everybody at least a couple times a month. Once we got a solution that's almost in place and we're just waiting on the IRS, it may be once a month just to let them know that, hey, we still haven't heard anything from the IRS, but we're always reaching out.
At least you keep them up to date about everything.
Yes.
So
Because it
you
really
do-
is a scary thought.
You do handle businesses also.
We do handle businesses as well as individuals.
What are some of these businesses? Some of the stories, the horror stories you've heard on businesses that have approached you and come to you for help.
Most of the time, that's going to be the payroll taxes.
Payroll taxes, okay.
It's the biggest horror story we see out there, and the down economy we've had for the last 6-7 years now. Texas has been coming back and been doing great, really never lost step. But the people we deal with
that's
across the
because of
country.
Rick Perry.
Rick Perry, yes.
Big fan.
Don't get into politics.
I'm
with
not.
her.
I'm just saying I'm a big fan of his.
She is. She
I
really
am.
is. I
Hey,
know.
well, I'm from Texas. I'm a big fan of his as well as George Bush. So, but that's what it is.
Right.
So it's nice to know that these problems can be solved. They got to be honest with you. They got to tell you everything up front. How long does the process usually take from the time they call you to the time you've come back and sit down with them and say, this is what we've worked out? How long is that process?
The solutions that we put in place will be everywhere from 6 weeks, 8 weeks, to where we can actually maybe get the IRS to stop doing some things that they're doing right now as far as levying their account or wage garnishments.
You can
even.
stop that.
We can get some things stopped, and
Because they know that it's being attended to now.
Right,
You're not
exactly.
they don't like to be ignored, do
it's
they?
being attended to, and we've gotten the taxpayer to make some adjustments so that we can get those things resolved sooner rather than later. Some of them are going to take longer to do that, depending on how mad the IRS or how bad the revenue officer has gotten on that case.
But what causes that for them to get so irate? Ignoring them, right?
Ignoring them, agreeing to things, missing deadlines, not doing
Saying
what
that you're going to be making a payment and not.
right, not doing the little things that the revenue officer wants to see. But once we get out there and we get the taxpayer working with us, then we can get a lot of things in place to slow that down. The offers and compromise are going to take anywhere from a year to 2 years to actually get resolved. So it's a long process out there, depending on the client and the situation that we're in.
Right, so if they make some sort of agreement, at least the payroll checks won't be garnished or banks be levied. I mean, that's a scary thought.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if I was in that situation, I definitely would not want to be seeing the IRS coming after me and sending more letters
Me
and
neither.
levying my account or putting a lien on my home or anything else. That becomes very scary.
It really does.
I don't mind admitting it now.
What now? What'd you do?
I actually had like 25 years ago, an ex-girlfriend who called the IRS. Remember, X, that was the key, X, and said, I'm doing all this crazy stuff. And I got a call from them, and those guys are scary. Now, they finally realized what had gone on, and they actually sent me a letter apologizing. It was a letter from Washington, D.C. But wow, those guys.
See,
can
now
really-
if you have a problem, you call Barry.
yeah, of course.
That's right.
He'll take care of it for you.
But I mean, those guys can really put
They're
the hammer on you.
intimidating, yes.
Yeah, and it gets scary out there, and just even on our end, listening to some of the things the RO tells us what they're going to do or what they've done or where they're at in the whole process, we just kind of look at it and go, wow, if I was sitting on the other end, I wouldn't want to be there.
But you're used to doing this.
Yes.
This is your expertise.
This is our expertise. This is what we do. My tax attorneys, my other enrolled agents, and my CPAs that work for me, this is what they spend their whole day doing, is being on the phone with the IRS, with our clients, and solving tax problems.
These are the people to call. So if you're having tax problems, these are the people to call. Give your phone number out again.
Locally here in Miami, 786-600-4351. Nationwide, toll free, 888-930-1016. Or check us out on the web at taxationsolutions.net.
Great website. But I'm telling you that, listen, you never know when you're going to get a call from
That's
them.
exactly it.
And the last thing you want to do is have to, what do I do? Who should I talk to? Don't Google anybody.
And don't handle it yourself.
Exactly. Don't try to handle it yourself, because
Get an expert involved with you.
these people will tear you. Can I say tear you a new one?
How about Terry the Shreds?
Whatever. You know what? I'm in a way trying to scare people to let them know that.
Listen, you don't have to scare people. The IRS does a good job of that.
I understand. So now, tell us about some of your other offices. I know you've got offices in Houston. You've got offices here.
He is everywhere.
I've got an office in Orlando. I've got them in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, New York, Ohio, Indiana,
There's a
Illinois.
reason I asked you this, because something else I learned. All these kind of scam companies out there, they were downsizing. We're no longer in that state anymore. We're no longer there anymore. Here's Barry. You're like really spread out all over now.
Yeah, we just opened Baltimore about 2 weeks ago, and we opened Las Vegas about 6 weeks ago.
So see, that shows you right there, because, I mean, it was like the stories on there about some of these companies. I keep seeing there. I've heard a couple ads here in town that the IRS has something new out there, that they're gonna some kind of forgiving program.
Oh yeah, the Fresh Start program that's been around for about 3 years now.
No, it's not new. Okay, the IRS has a new program out now.
Good one, Steve.
Just started 3 years ago. No, but it's running now. I hear it.
Yeah, we hear the ads all the time
I'm
about
sure
the
you
Fresh
do.
Start program, and it's been going on for a couple of years. So, don't
Don't
fall for
rely on that.
But, we know what the Fresh Start program is. We know how to use their Fresh Start program. We know all the programs the IRS has to solve the problems, and that's what we're going to put forth for every client that we have and every taxpayer that we can help, and whether they're here in Miami or anywhere in the U.S.
Here you go. Do the rules change very often? I mean, do you have to constantly keep up with changes that are going on?
We're always keeping up with what the new rules are and how to comply with each
You're
one of the
talking about the
IRS
government.
programs.
Of course, there's new rules. Every day there's new rules.
Okay, listen, thank you so much for coming. You came in all the way from Houston with
I
his
know.
wife, Meg, and we just thank you so much. He's going to be doing our Houston and our San Antonio
And he's
shows.
going to be calling into this show.
Exactly. So thanks so much for coming in. This is Barry Fowler. The name of the company is Taxation Solutions. Thanks for coming in,
Thanks
Barry.
for coming in, Barry.
Thank you both for having me.
Wow.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be right back on the other side
With Michael Leader.
Leader, criminal attorney.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more? Is the IRS levying your bank account or garnishing your wage? Taxation Solutions protects the future of today's taxpayer and can get you a fresh start. Their staff of professionals have a genuine concern for the IRS issues their clients face. Taxation Solutions have programs to stop the IRS and help you solve your IRS debt, IRS audit, innocent spouse, IRS seizures, offers, and compromise. Taxation Solutions are the leading experts in the industry. They look at each case objectively and honestly to help their clients identify the best solution. Call today for peace of mind and a free consultation at 786-600-4351. Don't stick your head in the sand anymore. Call now, 786-600-4351, or go on their website, taxationsolutions.net. Call 786-600-4351.